Hi, my name is Cynthia Landau, and I am proud to be a teacher. As a teacher, I have my own set of beliefs and goals for my students. In this video, I plan to lay out a few of my personal beliefs of teaching I consider important when it comes to ensuring student success. But first, I think it's important to briefly tell you about my own history as a student and how I got to this point in my life. And just to warn you, it's not what you would expect from an aspiring teacher. But nevertheless, my history plays a critical role in the person I am today and why I chose this profession. My history in the U.S. public education system was anything but smooth. It started off as me, an 8-year-old Brazilian native, being catapulted into a culture I had only known from American movies or television shows, and a language I was completely unfamiliar with. That's right, I was an English language learner off to a rocky start in a strange land. And though my English skills had gone from beginner to fluent within a matter of months, my progress in school had relatively stayed steady or declined even. No doubt about it, I was a different type of learner. And up until college, I thought there was something wrong with me. If I'm being honest, I thought I was stupid and doomed in this type of educational setting. This did not do wonders to my self-esteem. I went on believing this, and I automatically assumed that school and everything related to it was boring and not worth my time. That was true almost every time, except, of course, when a teacher would come along and prove me wrong. Teachers who spoke passionately, not just about the subject matter they were teaching, but how it was important to our lives and how we could personally improve because of it. And whenever I had such teachers, my progress would instantly shoot up. And there was a twinkle in my eye. I was genuinely interested in what they had to say. I wanted to learn and took pride in it. I think it was because they made learning fun and they focused on discussions, not just lessons, and they were interested in what I had to say and my opinions and my beliefs, and they validated me for it. I actually felt smart, and that felt wonderful. These teachers didn't just deliver information for me to retain, they cared about me as a whole person, and they prepared me for the lifelong process of learning. And that is something that I wanted to pass on to future generations. And so by the time I arrived at San Diego State University, I knew that I wanted to be a teacher. So what does this all mean now? Well, because of the amazing teachers I've had in the past, mixed with some new ideologies I learned in college and in grad school, I have a pretty good idea of what type of principles I want to bring into my teaching. My main goal is not just to have my students be more knowledgeable on the subject matter, but to have them walk away feeling more knowledgeable about themselves and feel better about themselves, validated, valued, and special, not just as students, but as human beings. In other words, it's important to approach them holistically and encourage their ideas, thoughts, emotions, creativity, and a natural curiosity for the world around them so that they could thrive and know how to react to it in the future. This quote by Sir Ken Robinson sums it up perfectly. He says, and I quote, "Our task is to educate our students' whole being so they can face the future. We may not see the future, but they will, and our job is to help them make something out of it." So it's not only about what they learn, but also about how they are prepared to learn it in such a way that it suits them best. Thinking back to when I was in school, when my teachers got me really engaged and excited about learning, that's when I would really soak in the information and take it to heart. That's when students are going to want to learn, not feel like they have to.
Learning is pride. Yeah. Knowing how to read something and understand it is the prize, okay? Knowing how to think is the prize.
I know how to think right now.
Okay, well, yeah, well, you know how to run, too, but not the way you could run if you trained. You know, the mind is like a muscle, okay? And if you want it to be really powerful, you got to work it out, okay? Each new fact gives you another choice. Each new idea builds another muscle, okay? And it's those muscles that are going to make you really strong. Those are your weapons.
She brings up a very interesting point. Our mind is like a muscle, and when we work it out, it becomes stronger. She also mentions that each new idea brings on another one. This is interesting because everyone has different ideas, and so knowledge can be subjective. This brings me to my next point. Much of what we learn is derived from our own experiences and what we already know. This is something for me to keep in mind in the classroom. Everyone has their own story and brings their experiences to the table. This to me is a part of the learning process and reminds me of the importance of running a student-centered classroom where children share ideas and build up on their knowledge. In the words of Nelson Mandela, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. This brings me to my final point. I want to make sure that my students know how crucial it is that they do something with what they've learned. Like I said, it's not just about the information as much as the degree to which they use it. And it doesn't just affect them alone. Knowledge is contagious. Simply put, I typically try to emphasize the fact that my students are responsible to do their part in contributing to the greater good of society. But most importantly, I want my students to feel empowered to take action and do what they can and ultimately change the world. This may be difficult to do with the younger crowd, but it's not impossible. Take a look at this clip and see how the teacher inspires the students to think about the world outside of their own and to take action.
This is your assignment. Extra credit, it goes on all year long. Now, wait a minute. What's wrong with this? What's the matter? Yes?
It's like so
So what? There must be a word to finish that sentence. Someone help her?
weird.
Crazy.
Weird. Crazy.
Hard. Bummer.
Bummer. Hard. How about possible? It's possible. The realm of possibility exists where? In each of you. Here. So you can do it. You can surprise us.
We all heard that cliche, children are our future. It's true. I really believe that the more educated we are as a society, the more social change we can make. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope to make this social change myself by passing on the buck to future generations. Or at the very least, I hope to make a difference in a child's life just like a great teacher made on mine. Thank you.